Good morning, friends and fellow traders. This is Doug Campbell with Right Way Options, and this is the morning market preparation video for October 12th, 2018. Well, hey everyone, it looks like we're going to catch a bounce today. Obviously, the selling really got nasty yesterday. It looked like, anyone that jumped in yesterday thinking that the rally was going to happen from there got punished for doing such. And now this morning we're getting a big overnight reversal. It looks like the Dow is going to gap up more than 300 points or more, actually closer to 400 plus points this morning, just kind of ripping the face off of anybody that held us short overnight. And here we are, we're looking at just this massive gap up this morning. Now, when we get a gap up like that, one of the things that first crop up in a person is this fear of missing out. We want to get our money back. If you lost money in the sell-off, you want to get your money back, and you could get all caught up in the energy, the excitement of the morning, the drama of everything, and chase into this gap up morning. Now, keep in mind, if we just go back here, I want you to just take a real quick study of this sell-off here in February. Notice after the big sell-off, we get this whip up and then we whip right back down. So please keep in mind, if you take a trade on this, chasing a trade into a 400 plus point gap up open, you could easily jump in, get a little tiny bit of rally, and then wake up on Monday and find the market trying to whip back lower. So be careful on how you plan that risk. Now, there are going to be bargains out there today. There's certainly no doubt about that. There are some bargain prices showing up in stocks. But trust me on this, you're going to earn that lower price because you're going to have to be willing to set through some significant whips. So be really, really careful about chasing into a gap up open this big. And remember, a true V bottom, this would be a V bottom, drop and come all the way back, is extremely rare in the market. Normally you're going to get price action like this: drop, whip, rally, whip. And so please keep in mind that this sell-off will likely take weeks, if not months, to resolve itself. And we throw in the complication of fourth quarter earnings on this, and it can be a very big challenge for a lot of folks. So watch that carefully, all right? Don't just blindly rush in thinking this is over. It's very unlikely that it is. So let's take a look here. The diamonds. Let's go to our chart here. The diamonds making that trip in just 2 quick days, breaking the 50-day moving average, breaking the 200-day moving average, and now we're rallying back up here to, notice right here, after dropping through this level right in here now becomes price resistance. And we could recover that today. We could come right back above that, try to hold onto that level in here today. That would be a good thing, but please keep in mind, most bottoms do not just go straight back up. It would be pretty normal for a rally back up here into levels of resistance and then a retracement back down. It may not go all the way to retest the lows. It could put in a higher low. Okay, so keep that in mind as you plan forward. If you jump in here, you may have to sit through a substantial pullback before that really becomes that good deal that you were hoping for in a trade. Let's take a look at the SPY. SPY, just really devastating blow here. Lots and lots technical damage here in the SPY. Let's take a look at those moving averages as well. Slicing through that 50-day moving average, slicing through the 200-day moving average substantially. Now a big gap up, and we're gapping up to right about the 200-day moving average this morning. So it is entirely possible that 200-day moving average or this big price level right here could resist us moving up higher, and we could actually see that move back down in there. So be careful chasing into that move this morning. The Qs, remember, we're going into fourth quarter earnings here. And we're going to start to see those earnings reports coming in over the next couple of weeks, pretty fast and furious. And the Qs have been struggling with that. And there's a lot of speculation that companies are going to have a difficult time producing earnings to support current prices. So keep in mind, we could see some of these big tech companies still show lots of trouble. And as we have dropped through and sliced through all these levels of support, breaking through the 200-day moving average, this rally back right up into hit this resistance area, we'll have to watch very, very closely as a place where we could see, again, that failure occur and a push back down to retest lows or perhaps make a higher low, which would be a nice setup if we get that higher low in there where we can start rebuilding a rally. But keep in mind, it's likely not to be very smooth. It's likely to be pretty harsh on how that comes out. Last but not least, the IWM. IWM just literally jumped out the window here, breaking down through lots of levels of support, seriously collapsing below the 200-day moving average, and now getting a bounce back, and we'll be bouncing back into a fairly heavy congestion resistance area here this morning. So watch this area up in here as we bounce back. If we can get through here, then watch this level right in here and that 200-day moving average as that resistance point for IWM. Okay, let's take a quick look at the VIX. That VIX really spiked up nicely here. If you were short, long the VIX, and or VXX, which was the trading vehicle I used, VXX. Now with this big gap up open, we can expect this to pull back sharply today. Watch that pullback. If we come back down here into these levels of support, we'll have to watch that area for that potential bounce back up. So be a little bit careful here. Watch that closely if we happen to bounce back. But we should see a substantial move back in that, which means option prices should cheapen up just a little bit. Some of that implied volatility may drop out of the market with such a big move higher, assuming that the buyers continue to support it and it doesn't whip back down. Please keep in mind, volatility is going to be high for a while. We could experience big whipsaws, big head fakes, lots of back and forth. So if you're going to get into this market, be willing to hold, or you'll just get yourself chopped to pieces as the market whips around. Look for really, really fast price action as well. So let's take a look at T21. Oops. T2122, that 4-week new high, new low ratio. You can see we were clear down here. My goodness, we were down here at this bottom. So really extremely oversold. But I want to point out that that doesn't mean we have to necessarily just rally all the way back up. Take a look at this one back in here in February, where we came all the way down here, popped up, turned right back around, and came right back down. And that's a fairly common pattern. When we get that extremely oversold, we can bounce real high and come right back down. So keep that in mind. This is probably not over. And even though we're down here in this area looking at that reversal, this gap up this morning is probably going to carry us pretty high just on its own, the gap. And then we could easily see that move back lower. So watch closely and be careful not to chase too many things or to chase, because it could be a painful lesson if you do. Let's take a look. Let's go back here. Take a look at our economic calendar today. We have a few things on the economic calendar that can certainly move the market around, but I think obviously the market's going to be much more focused on this huge bounce this morning. So we have import-export prices at 8:30 a.m. and then we have consumer sentiment at 10. Keep in mind, and by the way, both of those are expected to be pretty darn good numbers today. Keep in mind that we have 3 Fed speakers today, and with all of the news on or pressure that the president's putting on the FOMC, it might be interesting to see what these guys start to say. With that going on, if they choose to fight back, I don't know what will happen there. Could be interesting dynamic as that develops. Also on the earnings calendar, we have big banks kicking off fourth quarter earnings today. So we have Citibank reporting this morning. Looks like Citibank may have reported well, popping up here this morning. Just a little bit. We have JPMorgan that has already reported. They're also popping up just a little bit this morning. We have FRC, and don't think this one has reported yet this morning. Reporting. We also have WFC reporting. And right now that's showing a little bit of a pop up here this morning as well. And last but not least, Pnc Financial looks like they are falling this morning. So a little bit of back and forth in these. Financials are definitely all downtrending, not looking good at all. So a little bit of bounce could be really helpful to the market if that continues. So watch those closely. Keep in mind, earnings season is kicking off. We're going to start to ramp up those earnings starting into next week. So pay attention to that as you plan your what you want to hold through the weekend. So with that, everyone, hey, I want to wish you all a fantastic day. I want to wish you great profits. And if this is the first time you've seen these videos, please do me a favor. Click that subscribe button on YouTube. Click those thumbs up buttons. Also, follow me on Facebook. I also post the morning video on Facebook. Click those thumbs up buttons and drop a comment. I really do appreciate that a lot. And thank you for those who are leaving such nice comments. I do appreciate it. Also, please feel free to share these videos with any friends and family. With that, everyone, hey, I want to wish you all a fantastic day. I want to wish you a great weekend. And if you're struggling as a trader, just keep up the work. Keep digging in. Get yourself some help if you need some help. But keep up the work and never give up on yourself. All right, everyone, have a great weekend. We'll talk to you soon.